Good evening and welcome members to this yet another virtual CPE meeting of Borivali Central CPE Study Circle. And at this particular session, we are grateful to our Central Council member, C. Durgesh Bhai Kabra, to grace the occasion, for gracing the occasion. And we also have a learned speaker with us, C. Aseem Trivedi, to speak on the subject of Code of Ethics, practical aspects on Code of Ethics. And before we start the session, let us start with the Institute motto.
Sikandar, please start.
Connected. Remember, please wait for some time. There's some technical issue with the net connection.
Okay,
यशस्सुन्देषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामंशो वंशो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शूद्रं तदेव शूद्रगतं जनकं तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तनुनाच्ययतश्च नाट्यमीतश्च एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Thank you. Thank you, members. Lalit, please continue.
Thank you, Nilesh. Members, we are sorry for the technical glitch that has happened just now. Now, without wasting much of our time, may I request Central Council member C. Durgesh Bhai to say a few words on the session, please.
Thank you, dear Lalit, the convener of the India's largest study circle, Borivali Central CPE Study Circle, and the other team members of the study circle, Nilesh, Vasa, and Sikandar Yadav, and the speaker for today, Aseem Trivedi from Indore. Friends, it's indeed pleasure to be part of this wonderful study circle, the largest study circle, and also I have proud that I am founder convener of this study circle. Friends, let me tell you one thing, okay, that I missed last meeting. I couldn't come physically. There was certain reason. You all know about this. And then today also, I thought I'll be in Mumbai and I'll be attending. But today, it is a proud moment for all of us that our own member, Nihar Bhai Jambusaria, has been installed as a president at Delhi. And I rushed to Delhi in the morning. And I'll be back tomorrow morning. So I'm at Delhi right now, and we installed, and it's a proud moment for all of us, the member of this study circle, that our member is the president of the ICI now. Friends, with the responsibility this year, I have been given the chairmanship of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Committee and the vice chairmanship of Committee for Members in Industry and Business. So today only we had one program, that is campus orientation program, which was done simultaneously at four cities: Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, and Mumbai. Mumbai we had virtual, and in Delhi physical one, where around 500 students, 500 newly qualified chartered accountants were present, which we all addressed today. And I, looking to the various restrictions which are there in the Maharashtra, we couldn't have it physically in Mumbai. But I'm sure that there are lot many things to be done under these two committees, and simultaneously, as being the convener of the Center for Audit Quality, we need to do a lot of things. As I think you may not be aware about this, we have already finalized the concept paper on the approach paper on the AQMM, that is Audit Quality Maturity Model, and AQIs, Audit Quality Indicators, have already been finalized. And very soon, Audit Quality Indicators and Audit Quality Maturity Model will be there on the website of the ICAI, which is required to be followed by all the practicing units. And on the basis of the marking according to those indicators, the rating of all the firms will be done. Initially, it will be rated. It will be a self-rating, and thereafter, the rating will be monitored. So, and initially for a year or so, it will be recommendatory, and thereafter, the institute is going to have it mandatory. So, the all requirements which are there for the purpose of audit firms, whether all kind of compliances are there or not, uh, that will be decided on the basis of these various audit quality indicators which are being made by us, following all these standards across the world. We have gone through the various quality indicators which are there in Canada, which are there in Australia, which are there in the CPA USA, which are there in the FA, which has been issued by IAASB. And after considering all those, we have chosen that what is relevant for our country, and accordingly, we have decided to have these audit quality indicators. And I am sure, friends, if a chartered accountant uh, performs according to the ethical standards, which is the subject for today, and the quality, which is required for all kind of assurance and audit practices, I'm sure, friends, that the the flag of our institute, our profession, will always remain high, because these two are the most important things: audit quality and ethics and values. And the if we combine both of these things and we imbibe these into our practices, then I'm sure that we will be doing wonderful job for all the stakeholders, and none of these stakeholders will be in a position to raise fingers on us. And we will, even today, we feel that we are uh, proud on our profession. But tomorrow, if we do all these things, then the society will feel proud on all of us. That is what is required. The mindset of the society, mindset of the stakeholders is required to be changed. Our proper representation at government has to be done. That care has to be taken. And all this can only be done when we perform according to our ethics, values, and the quality of our work which we are performing. So with this, I will not take much of your time. I'll thank you all again for always being with me and various endeavors at regional council, central council, and at the study circle itself. Because of all of you, I'm there into the central council, and the support which I got always from you will continue, and whatever kind of work is done by me for the benefit of the members of our study circle, I'm always available. You can tell me, friends. Uh, and with this, thank you very much. Thank you, Lalit, and thank you, Nilesh and Kanda. And thanks to Aseem Mike for accepting our invitation and guiding all the members today of this Borivali Central Study Circle. Uh, it would have been much better if we could have had this meeting as the physical meeting. But Mumbai, as you know, Asim Bhai, there is a restriction, lot of restriction, and we couldn't invite. But I believe if you could have come personally, and whenever we'll get the opportunity, we'll try to have you physically also in future. And the benefit of the physical meeting will be definitely different as compared to the virtual meetings. So I still feel that the members who have joined this particular meeting, I'm sure I have heard Asim twice, so I know that what kind of command he's having, what kind of examples he is giving for various things. That brings the clarity in the mind of the professional brothers and sisters that what is exactly required to be done, what is exactly not required to be done, what care is required to be taken when we are doing the various, we are performing our duties with respect to the audit and assurance practices in our day-to-day work. So with this, thank you once again, and I'll be there always with you, friends. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Durgesh sir, for taking time out from your busy schedule, and thanks for updating us on the happenings at institute level. Thank you so much, sir. Now, may I request CA Nilesh Vasa to briefly introduce our learned speaker, please.
Thank you, friends. Thank you, everyone. And hope everyone is fit and fine. today we have a very well-known and learned speaker, CA Aseem Trivedi, will guide us on the topic practical case studies in Code of Ethics. CA Aseem Trivedi is a fellow member of ICAI, and he is specially known in country for his weekly column Jama Punji in Indian National Daily newspaper. He has a wide experience in the field of Companies Act, internal audits, accounting and accounting standards, and he is currently working in training and implementation of IFRS and New Companies Act 2013. He is also an author of many books for CA students. He is a nationwide known faculty for corporate and allied law, auditing, Ind AS, IFRS, and business laws. He has delivered more than 250 seminars on ICAI platform and in some prestigious colleges in India, including IIM. He holds post of treasurer, secretary, and vice chairman of Indore branch of Central India Regional Council of ICAI. His major contributions at ICAI New Delhi are as a member of task force to revise expert advisory opinions in 2000, co-opted member of CASLB under Accounting Standard Board 2006, trainer for technical standards on auditing under peer review board since 2007, and a convener of group constituted to convergence under IFRS under ASB 2010. He is a co-opted member of AASB of ICAI New Delhi 2014-15, and above all, he is appointed as a reviewer of new Code of Ethics by ESB of ICAI 2020. With this brief introduction, I welcome C. Aseem Trivedi today at Borivali Central CPE Study Circle. Sir, we welcome you at BCSC. And as a part of our your contribution to ICAI, we also present you a receipt of 500 rupees on behalf of BCSC towards your contribution. So Lalit Panchal will hand over this receipt. Thank you, sir, for your contribution. And over to Lalit. Please continue, sir.
Aseem, you do not give the memento. We give a 500 rupees contribution on your behalf to the institute in the CA Benevolent Fund.
Great, sir. Great.
Thank you, Nilesh. Thank you, sir. May I request Aseem sir to start his session, please?
Thank you very much, Durgesh Bhai. As you are traveling, we can witness it. And what all the members, we are sitting in our cabin and having a knowledge party. But see the council members, how much they are working hard for us in this pandemic, in this risk, in this all, they never bother about that. So I think a big round of applause to all these persons who are sitting in council and leading our institute to the highest possible level by having their visions. And Durgesh Bhai had reminded me the way and the style of Durgesh Bhai is just like my big brother Manoj Fadnis ji. So I wish that what height we achieved Fadnis ji, we should have Durgesh Bhai one day as a president of ICAI. So, sir, uh, we all know what caliber you have and how much hard work. And Kemishan, you always praises Durgesh Bhai. She called me one day that book your 3rd March. Durgesh Bhai is having, okay, there's no point. Then Lalit Bhai was coordinating with me. But the mail which was sent by Lalit Bhai had been included in the promotional mail. That's why I could not. Uh, then I flagged it out, and then the mail was there. So I was a bit confused yesterday that what happened to the seminar. So then I finally got that mail. It was in the promotional campaign kind. So let's start with the code of ethics. I have been addressed by all these fellow as a learned member. So let me first clarify that there is nothing called learned member. You can only say that I have read that particular thing earlier than you. That is the basic difference. Otherwise, there is no one called as learned, and I never want myself to be quoted as a learned member. There is nothing learned. It's differing of the things because I have to prepare. I have been working for institute since long over this particular code of ethics. Since 2009, we were working on the code of ethics. Again, in 2018, we are. So That's why I read it early. There's nothing called learned memory. Let's start with this code of ethics. Why this code of ethics has been introduced in the CPE seminars as a compulsory reserved category, that one has to be there on code of ethics. One session has to be there on code of ethics always. So see what we are now uh, talking about, code of ethics. So what is an ethics? So I always quote Mahatma Gandhiji's quotation that this planet Earth has everything for everyone's need, but nothing for anyone's greed. So that is the difference between ethics is what if we are uh, clear about what is our need, and if we are clear about what is our greed, so we are ethical. So, and when we just cross this line of need and greed, then the ethics is violated. In Chartered Accountants Act, it is very clear that what is ethics. So, ethics is nothing but the line between greed and need, and we need not to cross that particular line. Whatever assignment is coming to us, are we accepting that particular assignment as a need, or we are just accepting it out of greed? That disseminates between the what is ethical and what is unethical. We know that the balance sheet which came to us at the last moment has not been drawn properly. We know that the audit could not be completed with all quality norms. We know that our resources are quite scarce at the time in the last few days of our audit. So in that case, still we accept the audit, not out of our financial need, sometimes out of our emotional need, or emotional greed, or sometimes out of our familiarity greed, that see, this is our client, he's with us since last 10 years. Now, if he comes at the last day and he says that no, just do it, even without audit, you sign it. Now, I'll say, is there any need to sign this? Genuine need to sign this? Nothing. That's the point. And if we still we sign, we are just going out of the, we are just going out of the, uh, we are just crossing that particular line. So the important point is that what this particular code of ethics is based on, this whole code of ethics is based on only one thing, what is need and what is greed. So let's start with the code of ethics presentation. Uh, you have, if you go to code of ethics volume, you will find it that you have three volumes of code of ethics. Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. Earlier in 2009, we had two volumes, Volume A and Volume B. Volume A was IFAC Code of Ethics. Volume B was Indian Code of Ethics, that is Chartered Accountants Act 1949. But now, looking to the volume of the subject matter we contained in those volumes, we divided it into three parts. One is Volume 1, which is known as ISBA Code of Ethics, that is International Ethical Standards Board Code of Ethics, which has been revised in 2018. That is all. That is also one reason where we have to revise our own code of ethics. Then we have volume 2. That volume 2 is nothing but that is part B, and part B is nothing but uh, do's, compilation of do's and don'ts, which are contained in the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. And then volume 3, we have disciplinary cases, just to exhibit, just to show that how the disciplinary action have been taken previously on other matters, so that we can have a guidance that yes, this particular action has been treated as misconduct. and this particular action has not been treated as misconduct. So that practical aspects we have covered in volume number 3. Now, this particular talk I have been designed in such a manner that I could address the important issues, important practical issues in the code of ethics. So I will love to answer queries. Chat box is there. You can just post your queries, and I love to have a bilateral talk rather than a unilateral talk that I'm just explaining you the provisions. It will be very much uh, uh, useful for all of us if we could interact. So can you please list out some of your queries that you want to address me so that I could cover during my session? So just point out your concerns, point out your doubts, point out your some suspicion about certain provisions. So you can just list out those in chat box so that I will cover one by one. And whenever that particular query will come during my particular slide, I could address that. So let's begin with volume 2. I'm not going to volume 1 because volume 1 still under some of the basic provisions which were affecting our profession quite significantly have been deferred right now. So let them come with some revised guidelines and some revised rules. We will discuss some other day the volume 1. Volume 1, uh, how it is become mandatory to all of us. That is the one thing which is very important. Really need to are we really need to uh, are we really need to comply with volume 1? That is the first question which could come to your mind as we are the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. How could we required to comply with an international accounting standards code of ethics while we are nowhere giving services abroad? Suppose if I'm a chartered accountant sitting at Indore and I'm asking to someone that I'm complying with the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, why should I required to be complied with international code of ethics? So let me clarify you all that the preface to the volume 1, in the presidential preface, it had been clearly mentioned that this particular code of ethics, which is issued by uh, ISBA, that is Ethical Standard Board under the aegis of IFAC, being a partner country of IFAC, all our members are automatically members of the IFAC. So by that, we need to follow that international ethics also. But let me clarify you one more thing. Further, that presidential forward says that the international code of ethics will be treated as international code of ethics will be treated as council guideline, and non-compliance with council guideline is a major misconduct. Let me tell you, it's a major misconduct. So in that case, we need to follow volume 1 also and volume 2 also. Members who are in service, I request them to kindly go through with the volume 1 because they have enough codes to be complied with as a member in service. And there are significant changes for members in service. And I request Borivali chapter allowed to speak on that particular 1 day workshop, 2 hours workshop on code of ethics for members in service rather than in practice. So there are significant changes which are affecting them, and they are ignorant of that. We know our member in industry, they are so busy in their working. Sometimes they don't pay their membership fees, and then they found one day that their membership has been cancelled, and then they come to us, Durgesh bhai, please, I have just forget to file the membership fees and all that. They are so busy in their profession. So the person who even doesn't bother about paying the membership fees, how he could be allowed to have a time to read that particular code of ethics. So I just request each chapter, I always request each chapter which is organizing this seminar, that please do have a seminar for members in service also, because they are significantly affected by volume 1. So let's start with volume 2, to the members. Now, one query came to me is, can a practicing chartered accountant give a guarantee in a trustee capacity for a family trust? Family trust in which chartered accountant is a trustee is holding share capital in private limited company that is audit client. I'll explain in clause number 11 when I'm dealing with the trust. I got one particular point. Nowadays, insurance companies are coming to us and they are offering brokerage to us. That if you have a client and your client needs insurance solution, we provide best insurance solution. Yeah, my client came to me and said, sir, I have a plant of 550 crores. I want to get it insured, but I need you as a chartered accountant to first analyze what are the risk riders I should avail, so that, because I'm an internal auditor of that particular client, he definitely says to me that, sir, you are internal auditor, kindly suggest the best suitable risk coverage. First of all, you just assess risk. Sometimes it happens in internal audit, one particular entity we went for the audit as we were internal auditor, and we found that the insurance coverage is there. Pilferage rider is there, fire rider is there, flood rider is there. I just asked that particular manager who was taking care of the insurance, and to tell me, in this Pithampur, that Pithampur is an industrial area nearby us, we have no river at all, not a single pond we have. Why you have opted for the flood rider? Second, you are dealing in iron rods, and those iron rods are really quite heavy, humongous size. Can you even imagine that a pilferage could be there? We said, no, sir. Then why these riders are there? So as an internal auditor, we always there to give them the value support. So now my client came to me, sir, you are the best judge to decide the insurance policy and decide my risk and negotiate with the insurance companies on behalf of me. So now, if I am negotiating on behalf of my client to an insurance company, and that insurance company sells out its policy to my client, I can definitely have a brokerage from that particular insurance company. There is no harm in it. But mind it, we are not insurance agent. We are not insurance agent. We are insurance broker. Insurance broker is specialized in insurance risk management. Insurance agents are nothing but they are agent of the insurance company who are following the instruction of the insurance company and who are achieving their targets. Whenever institute finds that something which is given to a chartered accountant will involve him in a malified practice, they stop that. They know that these guys are having 2,000, 3,000 salary persons file in their office. If they started selling the life insurance and they started selling the health insurance, they are the better target achiever in the insurance company. They may get their client may get over insured and then come to ICI that for his commission he over insured us. So for that, insurance brokerage is allowed, insurance agency is not at all allowed. So one has to be very clear that can we have an insurance brokerage though in our domain? Yes, we can. Now, as a practicing chartered accountant, I want to offer administrative services also to my audit client. Now, what kind of administrative services you want to give? Sir, he comes to me and says, sir, what this GST came to me, it's a big headache for me. Just outsource whole my all my GST functions. You have to compute the GST. You have to fetch the data from my computer. You have to prepare the GST data. You have to prepare the GST return. You have to verify that particular GST return, and you have to upload the GST return. You have to do everything end to end. And then, and you are auditor of us, you have to do tax audit also. You have to do private limited company tax audit, company audit also. Same client is asking me over which, of which I am the statutory auditor, I am the tax auditor, and the same company is asking me, sir, please do these all duties for the GST. Please perform these all tasks relating to GST. Now the point is, first of all, Companies Act 2013 does not allow me to involve in management services. If I say management services means I could not assume the management's responsibility. I can assume some of the clerical responsibilities and all, but I cannot assume the management responsibility. And you are saying administrative services. What kind of administrative services you require from me? He says this kind of GST services I require. I'll say, see, some of the work is clerical, I do agree with. But filing the GST return on your behalf, calculating the GST on your behalf, sourcing the data from your computer and preparing the GST return, and then signing that GST R9C recently. I can't do that. Maker cannot be checker. There is a self-review thread in every audit. If you are performing GST computation, GST return filing, GST calculations, GST payable has been determined by you, ITC recoverable and ITC recovered is determined by you, how you can sign that financial statement which contains all these 3 to 4 figures, GST payable, ITC receivable, ITC claimed? We can't. It's not allowed because there is a self-review threat. One cannot find discrepancies in his own creation. So they have clearly mentioned that you should refrain to give any administrative services which involves determination of some figures which are included in the financial statement where you are having a role of auditor. But yes, if he comes to me with all the figures and just says me to upload the return, pay the challan, these are ministerial nature services. I have nothing to be significantly determined on behalf of management. Nothing to be determined on behalf of management in this particular assignment. Whatever they have given, I have to upload. Whatever they have given, I need to upload that thing. That I can do. But I can't assume the management responsibility to crystallize the liability. And if I'm crystallizing the liability, if I'm paying the challan, if I'm preparing the return, if I'm sourcing the data, if I'm doing everything, then I should refrain to give opinion on such financial statement which contains these all figures which are determined by me only. That is the first line which I need to tell you about administrative services. Another question. Before that, I should give you one more example. Abhi to at present in India, we don't have that much uh, acquaintance about the international best practices as far as appeals are concerned, as far as judiciaries are concerned, where we as a chartered accountant approach. But internationally, mind it very carefully. If you are auditing a financial statement of an entity, you cannot become advocate of that particular entity in any of the cases, because you will advocating your own work to the judiciary. Look, if someday appellate authority before whom we are appearing ask just one question to us, sir, you are chartered accountant? Yes, sir. You are chartered accountant of this fellow whose appeal has been filed? Yes, sir. Who prepared these financial statements? Sir, my client prepared these financial statements. Okay. Who prepared the computation of income? Sir, I assisted him in computing the computation of income, but yes, it was his duty. I was just assisting him, no doubt. Who has audited these financial statements? Sir, myself audited the financial statement. That's good. And who disallowed your audited financial statements? Sir, your assessing officer has disallowed. These are the expenditures which are disallowed by the assessing officer. Though my audit report was never objecting on these, how he added that I don't know. That's why we have filed an appeal and I'm here. Then that fellow will say, will tell us that, sir, you have conducted audit of these financial statements and our assessing officer has added these much despite your audit report was not indicating anything. Out of his own judgment, he added it. Yes, sir. So now what do you want? You want to justify your own audit report and your own action, or you are representing the client? Now we will be speechless. How one can advocate his own work? फिर तो एक काम करते हैं, असेसिंग ऑफिसर को भी बुला लेते हैं एंड देन असेसिंग ऑफिसर और आप दोनों खड़े हो जाओ एंड देन यू जस्ट, फिर वकीलों की क्या जरूरत? That is the point. So sooner or later, as the implementation of code will be there as volume 1, we need to decide that we should not fight for any case of the client in income tax if we have signed that particular financial statement, because it would be tantamounts to advocacy threat. That is the point. Now one more thing. Sir, we have a network of chartered accountants. In Borivali, we have study circle in Borivali. For example, I'm taking in Borivali, we have study circle and 5-7 members of Borivali, they are quite active. One is specialized in GST, another one is specialized in finance, another one is specialized in internal audit, another fellow is specialized in statutory audit. So we have diverse portfolio of specialization. And these chartered accountant then treated to have a informal network in which if some client came to me and says, sir, I want to get finance from bank, then I will refer this client to Lalit Bhai. And then if someone comes to Lalit Bhai that we want a statutory auditor, he will refer to me. And if I have some work related to finance, I will hand it over to Nilesh Bhai. So that kind of adjustment we are having. Okay. So what about the referral fees? I referred client to you. You should give me 10% or 20%. Can a chartered accountant raise a bill to another chartered accountant for a referral fees? Officially, yes, we can, including GST. Officially, yes. Then definitely one thing should come in our mind. Sometimes before, I think when the lockdown started, I have been approached by one of the company to address a particular gathering about my those small column which are being in the Patrika for that Jama Puji saving options and then investment options and insurance options. They want me to address a particular gathering. I said, who are the audience? They said we have 2,000 chartered accountant members from all corners of the country. I said, what is your business? How members become your member? Despite we have ICI, you are also a body which have chartered accountant as a member. Yes, sir, they are our business associate. I was just surprised to know that what kind of business association you have with all these chartered accountants. So we are an entity which assists public at large to file their income tax return. And we have created a network of chartered accountants to whom we become an aggregator like Ola and Uber. Wherever anybody wants chartered accountant, we suggest him that the chartered accountant, whatever chartered accountant charges the fees, we keep a commission of this much and we receive the fees and we retain 20% or 30% of the receipts of that particular client and we will hand over it to the chartered. I was amazed to see that after Ola, after Uber, after Zomato, for chartered accountant, we have this kind of association. I said, sir, I'm really very sorry. I cannot address this particular seminar because whatever my fellow colleagues are doing is completely unethical. And what you are doing to them is again against my code of ethics. How could I justify my position before anyone, if anyone in future asks that particular network to which ICAI is saying that this network is not a legal network in terms of Chartered Accountants Act. And we advise the chartered accountant to refrain from joining such kind of network. How can address a seminar over that particular network? Then finally, I have not taken that particular seminar, but they send me email that these are our इसमें institute को क्या problem है. They have sent me complete structure of their that this is our structure. Why institute has a problem with us? We are referring. We are working for public at large, and we are just giving work to you and your members. Why ICAI has a problem with us? I said, sir, we have a professional development committee at ICAI, which is working there. We have our own network. We have Chartered Accountant Institute. We have our own networking guideline. Our guideline does not permit us to join any BNI, any business network, any business network. We can join network of our own firms which are registered with Chartered Accountants Act because our regulatory body want to regulate us and they can't regulate you because you are not registered with ICA. So any network which is not registered with ICI is out of the purview of ICI. So their activity is not regulated. And in any case, if something gone wrong, all those 2,500 chartered accountants will be blamed for what has been done by the entity, whatever it is. And that blame could not be taken by the ICI because ICI could not be in the helm of the affairs in that particular business network. So ICI has a clear-cut guideline. You can associate yourself with a network which is under our control. So please, whenever you want to join any network, kindly confirm that whether that network is registered with ICI or not. See, अच्छा नहीं लगता है कि एक तो हमको काम मिल रहा है और ये एक बीच में और रूल लेकर आ गए. जब वो काम दे रहा है तो आप रूल लेकर क्यों आ गए? Sir, regulatory bodies are regulatory bodies. If someone says that NBFCs have to get registered, then NBFCs are required to be registered. If someone says CB, you are investment advisor, you have to get yourself registered with CB. So regulatory body is regulatory body. Everywhere the regulations are there to control the and conduct of the members. So we should respect that. So I should request every member that we and anything and an institute had given notices to those chartered accountants also that kindly show cause notice that kindly explain why an initiative cannot be taken against you for the violation of clause number 2 and clause number 3 of the part first of the first schedule. So we should refrain from joining any network wherever it is if it is not registered with ICI. Now, I want to convert my firm into multidisciplinary partnership. And I want to enter into partnership with CS, lawyer, CWA. Can I have a multidisciplinary partnership firm? Sir, very clear. ICAI in 2006 amended the Chartered Accountants Act and brought rules and regulation 53, 54. There are so many regulations they brought in. And in those regulations, they have specified that there are 8 persons apart from a practicing chartered accountant with whom you can enter into partnership. And those 8 fellows were CS, CWA, LLB, architect, engineer, actuary, BE, BTech, and MBA. So these 8 persons were there with whom we can enter into partnership. Our regulation says that when this regulation came out, our member approached to ICSI, to ICAI cost, to Bar Council of India. That's why we have certificate of practice of institute, and we also want certificate of practice of CS, CWA, and Bar Council. They just denied it. That you can't have multi-certificate of practice. We said our institute allowed. Said your institute allowed, but we are not allowing. Then we went to company secretaries, CWS, lawyers to become our partners. They said, sir, we have to seek permission from our institute. They sought permission from their respective institute. They denied it. You cannot enter into partnership with a chartered accountant. So Institute of Chartered Accountants could not determine the modalities over which a multidisciplinary firm can be formed. And if the modalities are not yet decided, kindly do not enter into partnership with any CS, any lawyer, or any CW. Otherwise, it would be misconduct for them. It would be misconduct for you also that modalities have not been decided, but it will not be a major misconduct for you, but it would be major misconduct for them. Their institute is not allowing to have a multidisciplinary firm. So you cannot have multidisciplinary partnership right now with CS, lawyer, and CW. It is not possible to have. So we do not have guidelines in this regard issued by ICAI. ICAI has not issued any of the guidelines related to that. So we can't have this. Then, as a practicing chartered accountant, I want to become partner or designated partner in LLP, though I will not be active and remunerative partner. Some people asked to institute that can I become yeah, I'll answer Vikrant by as a practicing chartered accountant, I want to become partner or designated partner in an LLP, though I will not be active and remunerative. Why you want to become a become partner or designated partner, not an active partner in LLP? So that LLP is doing some business, and I want to become limited liability partnership. I want to become partner in that. I will not be active partner. As you have allowed under companies that I can become an independent director, I can become a non-executive director. So when I can become a non-executive director, when I can become an independent director where I don't work, I don't execute any task in company, still I am director. So like on the same way, can I become partner or designated partner in an LLP? Sir, please keep in mind, we cannot become partner or designated partner in any LLP which is not of chartered accountants and working as a chartered accountant firm. We cannot become normal partner in LLP, non-working partner or non-remunerated drawing partner. Not at all. If it is not carrying on professional work, we cannot. Now, Vikrant Bhai had asked very interesting question. So do you believe that our code of ethics need to be incorporate brand building for members as it is the need of the day? Vikrant Bhai, brand building as far as three professions are concerned. If I go to medical profession, if I go to lawyer's profession, if I go to auditor's profession or chartered accountancy profession. In these three professions, your own experience, your own skill, your own work, your own client satisfaction makes your brand. Think of anyone in Mumbai to whom you think that he is a brand chartered accountant. Yes, he is a brand chartered accountant because branded chartered accountant because he himself has created that brand image. I know there are firms in Mumbai, in Delhi, in Indore, in Ahmedabad, who are not less than big fours. How they created their image just by becoming large. Look at the branded firms. How the branded firms are working with enormous partners. You can't become a brand in your proprietorship concern. You can't become brand in one, two, three, four partners firm. Unless you don't have 10, 12 chartered accountants in your firm, and then you are growing unitedly. Only those firms in India grown up who have associated in their initial year, they have associated with large number of chartered accountants. Pick up any chartered accountant firm which is brand. So brand building is a teamwork, and you need to have a great team, and that great team has to be developed with your own efforts. Code of ethics is just there to look at you that you are not doing anything. What you say, Vikrant bhai, I can understand that why we should not advertise, why we should not have our own logo, why we should not have our own mono, why we should have not testimonials of our clients, why we should not have uh, brand endorsement kind of that we can have. So, sir, not only our profession has this, even in the medical profession and in the lawyer profession, the same codes are there. So, brand building is a teamwork, and that teamwork has to be there for a brand. That is my suggestion is there for that particular thing. As a practicing chartered accountant, I want to respond a tender. Tendering is a big deal. And chartered accountant filling a tender, that is only another point. So can we fill a tender? Yes, we can always fill tender. Which tender? Yes, that is a good question. Before filling the tender, before filing a tender, just ask one question. Whether the services sought from me in that particular tender is exclusive domain of chartered accountant. Company audit, exclusive domain of chartered accountant. Income tax audit, exclusive domain of chartered accountant. So if that tender is towards exclusive domain of chartered accountant, the second question we should ask, whether this particular tender have prescribed a minimum fees. If our answer is affirmative, yes, this particular tender includes minimum fees, we should fill that tender. And if that tender does not prescribe minimum fees, we should not respond to that tender. Why? Just because our ICI, our professional development committee, our members in council, they don't want that a person who is seeking the services of chartered accountant can have 10, 12 proposals before him, and then he will have a bargain with all our members, and the least quoted member, though he may not have that particular quality, will get the work, and the other qualitative chartered accountants will be deprived of having that particular work because they cannot have that work in that particular cost, which particular cost is quoted by the fellow chartered accountant. To maintain quality of service, we have cost of our own resources in office. We need to have a remuneration. If we are compromising with the remuneration, definitely we are going to compromise with the quality. And ICAI is very firm on policy that quality cannot be compromised. So for that, they have clearly mentioned that if a work can be done only by chartered accountant, a minimum fees has to be quoted by that particular fellow in his tender, then only our chartered accountant is going to respond. We will not allow our chartered accountant to have a cutthroat competition before a particular person. Still, अब हमारा तो क्या है, we all are chartered accountants, and when we are chartered accountant, whatever the law comes, flaw comes. I was speaking in Noida. I'm always taking this particular example of Noida. One learned lady asked me that, sir, you have told that minimum fees has to be quoted by that particular person who is calling tender. Sir, Delhi Development Authority had issued a tender exclusively for their audit and exclusively for their audit work or some work which can be done only by chartered accountant. And they have quoted that the minimum fees would be this much. We all filled the tender. And after that, we got a news that what we were expecting, that this fellow will receive the, will get the work. Definitely he got that work. So where is transparency? We applied through R2I that what, on what basis you have allowed him to fetch the work. And we surprised to note that that fellow is quoted below the minimum fees which was prescribed in the tender. And he's saying, I have never violated any law of ICI. ICI says you can respond to tender which contains minimum fees. I responded to that tender. ICI never said that you have to fill the fees in the fees column, which should be more than that minimum fees. I said minimum fees means what? That is the minimum only. You can't go below that. There is a misconduct, sir. It's a clear-cut misconduct. Whenever we have this kind of approach, that whatever minimum fees is given, we are quoting lower than that. So we cannot quote lower than that. That is very important. Second tenders, somebody wants us to be an internal auditor. Now see, internal auditor is a non-exclusive domain. Anyone can be internal auditor. Under section 138, anyone can be internal auditor. Maybe CA, maybe CS, maybe CWA, or it may be any person who has a professional knowledge or degree or any experience. Under section 138, there is no restriction that the internal auditor must be a chartered accountant. So I would say, yeah, it is domain, it is not exclusive domain of chartered accountant. Anyone can fill tender. Institute says, if it is not exclusive domain of chartered accountant, just fill tender. Whether minimum fees quoted there or not quoted there, doesn't matter. Fill tender. Whatever price you want to quote. Free to fill the tender. Now the question comes, sir, chartered account, those guys are calling tenders from only chartered accountant for internal audit. They have given in newspaper a tender that we require chartered accountant firms to conduct internal audit, and they have not quoted minimum fees. I would say, still you can fill the tender because minimum fees is not required to be quoted in non-exclusive domain. Logic is very simple. Our professional development committee, our council, our ethical standard board sometimes apply their own rationale while preparing the law, that if we restrict our member to fill a tender which is for non-exclusive domain, just because they have not put in minimum fees, our members, if they deprived of from them, so one tender will come from one entity that we want internal auditor, only chartered accountants can fill that tender, and they have not put in minimum fees. All chartered accountants have not put it. Now all chartered accountants remain silent. They never reacted over that. They did not respond because ICL मना कर रखा है. अगली बार से that entity will issue an advertisement where they will not have chartered account. अरे यार ये बहुत भाव खाते हैं. इनके नाम का टेंडर निकाला, एक भी आदमी ने टेंडर नहीं भरा. तो सर ऐसा नियम कैसे बना सकते हैं? How can we have such kind of a rule? That's why we have said that in exclusive domain, minimum fees is required. If minimum fees is not there, don't file tender. If non-exclusive area is there, sometimes technical biddings are there that we are calling profiles of chartered accountant who are having 15 chartered accountants, at least out of them 5 are FCA, out of them 2 have an experience to sign the central statutory audit of bank. Kindly send your profiles. That's हम लोगों ने अपनी profile भेज दी. That's called technical bidding. After that technical bidding, what they are doing? They are calling one to one and asking for the fees. It is allowed. There is no point. There is no harm. There is no harm at all in quoting the fees on one to one point. So that is the point relating to the tender. Then comes my firm want to be sponsor for the marathon. No, sir. Mumbai Marathon can't be sponsored by you. Sorry. No, Mumbai Marathon तो आप sponsor कर भी नहीं सकते. It's very big affair. I have just Borivali Marathon sponsored by Lalit Panchalji. No, you can't. Not possible. You can't become sponsor to any event. Not even Ganpati, not even anything. Your firm cannot become sponsor to anything, not marathon only. Can't. But we have heard somewhere, sir, that this new code of ethics has some amendment for sponsoring activity. Yes, sir. This amendment came out with a very interesting thing. If you want to become sponsor for a national conference, which is approved by the CPE committee, you can become sponsor to that particular national conference. So if in Mumbai, you have a national conference and you guys want to have your stall of your firm in that national conference, and you are sponsoring the folders or you are sponsoring the kind of papers or files or whatever, it's allowed to you. So one thing which came to us that अपने ही घर में sponsor करने में क्या दिक्कत है? We can have sponsorship for that also. So National Conference of CA organized by CPE committee, we can have. Need of the hour. After coming up of GST and this internet revolution, I think almost every chartered accountant is GST expert. He designates himself. He may be GST guru, he may be GST mitra, he may be GST mentor, he may be anything. Everyone has his own channel, YouTube channel. How you created YouTube channel, sir? Oh, how I created website, I created YouTube channel. Okay. So can you have your website name as Text Mitra. No, the institute has issued guideline that our website should not be other than our firm name. So, sir, the same guidelines apply to YouTube channel also. It is also just kind of a referral site. How can you have a name which is very different? So if you have a YouTube channel, named it very differently, kindly change the name today itself before the notice comes to you. Second, are you uploading knowledge videos? Yes. Are you asking people to subscribe your channel? Please press bell icon to have more knowledge on GST, regular knowledge on GST, updation on GST, updation on company law, updation on taxation. Yes, sir, I do say this. Sorry, sir. Stop saying this. You're soliciting the client. You cannot insist a person to press a bell icon, because in website also you cannot have a push mode. So how can a push mode be here at the YouTube channel? It's not possible. Oh, can I share the YouTube channel link to everyone in Mumbai? Sir, can you share your website link to anyone in Mumbai? No, sir, website guideline clearly mentions we can't do so. So, sir, here also you can't do so. So, I'm just sharing that on WhatsApp, and that group is of chartered accountants. Okay. If you're sharing in the group of chartered accountants, no harm. But if a chartered accountant took a snapshot of Borivali Kirana Merchant Association, where you were talking about GST, where you were talking about budget, and showing the supremacy in between the members of the Borivali Kirana Merchant Association, another chartered accountant will felt offended. यार मैंने वीडियो नहीं बनाया तो क्या मैं कम chartered accountant हो गया? And this guy is exhibiting himself as a master of GST, though I know he is not. And if he offended and he took a screenshot of whatever you have posted in that particular group, and a complaint had been lodged with the institute that this is called soliciting of client, definitely disciplinary directorate has to take an action against you, that why you are soliciting client by sending these. Can't. You can have your YouTube channel, you can upload knowledge videos, you can send link to your own chartered accountant members, your own existing clients, but you cannot send link to any prospective client. If someone comes and press the bell icon because he loves you to speak, no problem. He loves you to listen, no problem at all. He is pressing his bell icon. एक आदमी अगर रोज आपकी वेबसाइट पे आ रहा है तो उसमें सॉलिसिटेशन क्या है? उसको अच्छी लग रही होगी आपकी वेबसाइट, इसलिए आ रहा है. So we can have YouTube channel, but with all our guidelines which are given. Can we advertise in newspaper? Yes, we can advertise in newspaper, but with all guidelines. One advertisement very nicely put in the Times of India 3-4 months back. I think 4 months back, a very nice advertisement had been put up in Times of India, New Delhi. In that, a chartered accountant firm in 14 font size described everything about that firm in a very nice and decent manner. And I have analyzed that particular guideline and I found, yeah, this particular advertisement given in newspaper by a chartered accountant firm is complying with the guidelines which are issued by institute in clause number 7. So people are working and they are researching and they are making the advertisement in terms of the guidelines which are issued by ICA. Let me uh, check whether I have that advertisement. Let me show you if I have that particular advertisement with me. Just a minute. अभी बात निकली है तो वो एडवर्टाइजमेंट अगर मिल जाए तो बड़ी अच्छी बात है. Just got that photograph. A very nice photograph. And I have analyzed that particular photograph on that basis. Sorry, I don't have that right now, but definitely I will share it on group whenever I got that. There's a specific advertisement. Now, our firm has completed 25 years and we want to give advertisement in newspaper on such occasion. Can be. You can considering the need of interpersonal socialization or relationship of member through such get-together occasion, the advertisement for silver, golden, diamond, platinum or centenary celebration of the chartered accountant firms may be published in newspaper or newsletter. But we have to keep in mind that we should not have a language which shows superiority of our firm over the other firms. The language is still important. You can give advertisement, but can't show your superiority over others. That is the point. Now, as a question relating to, just a minute, one question was there, whether a practicing chartered accountant give guarantee in trustee capacity for a family trust. And family trust in which the chartered accountant is a trustee is holding share capital in private limited company, the audit client. Look, you are auditor of a private limited company. Okay. And you have given a guarantee in the trustee capacity for a family trust. Okay. And family trust in which the CA is a trustee is holding share capital in private limited company. No harm in it, sir. Cause you are holding share not in your capacity. You are holding share in a trustee's capacity. So you can hold share in a trustee's capacity. No problem at all. Can you give guarantee as a chartered accountant on behalf of trust, family trust? Yes, you can give guarantee on behalf of family trust. No problem at all. But can you give guarantee on behalf of family trust to a company in which you are auditor? Yes, you can give, but as an incapacity of trustee, you are doing that. Now mind it very carefully. You can be honorary trustee who will get only honorarium, not a full-time kind of a trustee who is getting the remuneration kind of thing. Whatever 1,001 rupees, 10,001 rupees honorarium is given to us, you can be a trustee for only पार्ट ऑफ ऑनरेरियम. आई डोंट थिंक फैमिली ट्रस्ट में तो कोई रेम्यूनरेशन मिलेगा भी ट्रस्टी को. ये अगर मिल रहा है तो दैट इज रॉन्ग. नाउ this is done. Practicing chartered accountant writing regular articles on electronic media. Can I use my name with a prefix CA or my firm name? That is another thing. There are blogs, there are sites, very good interactive sites are there in India which are providing best knowledge. They have best authors, and some sites are there that anyone can post. Even my article is posting article over there. I am posting my article is there. My article comes to me, sir. My article published in that on that side where your articles are being published. I say very good. So some sites are there where my articles are publishing. My articles are also publishing. So can we have? Yes. He indicate in the book, article or presentation his name with prefix CA or the name of such form of chart accountant without mentioning the professional attainments. Aseem Trivedi and Associates. Don't put expert in GST, expert in income tax, expert in that, expert in that. No, without any professional attainments. A firm of, from 25 years. No, sir. Don't put any kind of professional attainment there. Okay. Then I am a practicing chartered accountant. Want to use my logo or network firm logo on professional document. We can't have our own logo. We can't have our network firm logo on our professional document. The only logo permitted to us is a chartered accountant. See why? We discussed that it is prohibited strictly. We can't have that. I am a practicing CA, have communicated to the predecessor through my registered email address, to his registered email address, and received a confirmation of receipt. That's great. This is the amendment which came in clause number 8, this time in the new code of ethics. We can communicate to the predecessor through our email addresses or registered email addresses. Soon we are going to have our communication with the predecessor through UDIN portal. Otherwise, if you are not going with that particular registered email address with the confirmation of the receipt that he received the mail, if it is not there, then the only way left to you is registered acknowledgement post. Let me clarify, there is nothing called NOC. In our profession, we always use NOC lana hai, NOC lana hai, no objection certificate. Sir, there is nothing like no objection certificate in Code of Ethics. In our Chartered Accountants Act, we don't want any no objection certificate from the predecessor. The requirement is just to communicate to the predecessor. Once the communication is with him, and we have a proof of delivery that communication with him, we will wait for a reasonable time. If he's in Mumbai, we should wait for 2-3 days. If he's out of Mumbai, we should wait for 7 days. If he's out of the state of Maharashtra, we can wait another 10 days. We will send him a letter. Your client is now want our services. You are the predecessor. Hence, we are communicating with you. Do you have any professional or other reason for us not to take up such an assignment? Kindly inform within 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, whatever time we want to mention it. Reasonable time we have to mention. We have to wait for that particular time and then start doing audit. Sir, it is 25th. 30th is the last day. 25th that client came. How could I communicate? Sir, Why you are accepting the audit? First thing. No, sir. If he came and say कि करना पड़ेगा तो no, don't accept. On 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th, don't accept. Sir, I just had a talk with him on call. He has no objection. Sir, you're not fulfilling the requirement. We need communication from you to him. That is important. Face to face. Yesterday night dinner, we were there. No, sir. Not possible. It happened in Indore itself. Yesterday dinner we met. My two youngsters, chartered accountant, they were on dinner. They asked the senior chartered accountant, sir, your client came to us. Can we conduct the tax audit of his? Chartered accountant said, यार कर दो क्या है बस मेरा देख लेना मेरी पिछली बार की फीस वो दे दे सर बिल्कुल बिना आपकी फीस के हम नहीं हाथ लगाएंगे they went to that particular fellow asked him to give a check he gave a check to the client they got the receipt from that particular client he got that receipt but that fellow who sent check got a receipt from the client he shown the receipt to the chartered accountant sir it had been paid you please proceed chartered accountant get a copy of that check kept in file and they started auditing they issued audit report 15 days later a notice came to them from that gentleman how dare you to accept the audit when I said you do not accept the audit unless my undisputed audit fees paid they said sir we have check that fellow said I received check I put that check into the bank account also and that check dishonored and you guys screwed me you guys along with that particular client conspire against me so I'm going to ICI that you have not communicated to me in writing sir you have given I'm going and he went to ICI complaint lodged complaint admitted proceeding started and at the end very interesting thing happened ICI asked from that chartered accountant that okay we are punishing them but off late you can see that it is not their mistake it is the mistake of client so what you want he said I just want one thing I will withdraw this case if they pay 21,000 rupees to an orphanage the tax audit fees was just 15,000 that gentleman said ask them to pay 21,000 to an orphanage I'll withdraw my case. And those youngsters they paid 21,000 to the orphanage, and that particular chartered accountant withdraw that particular case. So sometime it happens. We can't. That's why कुछ नहीं होगा तब कुछ नहीं होगा लेकिन कुछ ऐसा हो जाएगा कि फिर आप अरे यार इस पे एक लेटर ही भेज देते so better send a letter with a proof of delivery should have so that is communication so what happened when someone objects someone is objecting don't accept why my removal is not in accordance with section 140 how you are accepting the appointment if someone says that his appointment his removal is not in accordance with section 140 we should not accept the appointment otherwise we will be involved in misconduct under clause number 9 non-compliance with Charter Companies Act 1949 don't second objection don't accept audit why they have not paid my undisputed fees don't accept audit unless the undisputed fees has not been paid just now I told you what happened Third reason, don't accept audit. Why? I was about to qualify their report. They said, sir, okay, we don't want audit from you. We'll get it signed from someone else, not from you. Now, if his removal was appropriate and your appointment is appropriate, you can accept this audit, because giving qualification is a professional judgment. It may be my judgment, it may be your judgment. Judgments may be on different grounds and different determinations. So we can still accept the audit in that case. But normally, for those two reasons, that undisputed fees has not been paid, and that second reason, that my removal is not okay, we should not accept the appointment. And one thing which should keep in mind very clearly, while taking an appointment under the private limited company, it seems very simple that I've been appointed as an auditor in a private limited company, but look whether section 140 has been complied with or not. I have alarmed so many times from so many forums that please check whether your appointment is in accordance with section 139 and his removal is in accordance with 140. Rotation is there, because his firm had 5 years. Now he cannot be appointed. I am getting appointed. No problem, sir. But that company which is not coming in rotation, I have a problem in that company. A chartered accountant in a small company or a one-person company can be appointed n number of times for 5 years slot. And if you want to remove him in accordance with section 140, the removal requires a special notice and the whole procedure has to be followed, which is given under section 140. And we unfortunately, while taking an assignment of a private limited company, never bother to check that resolution, which requires a special notice under section 140. That document must be in our file when we are accepting the appointment. Mainly small company, private company, dormant company, and one-person company I'm talking about. Not talking about limited companies or listed companies over which the rotation is applied. If rotation is applied, we don't bother about that. Uska period khatam ho gaya, mujhe appoint kare, no problem. But other than that, a removal requires special notice. Read section 140 very carefully. If the member of the company do not want to reappoint the retiring auditor, or they want someone else in place of the retiring auditor, a special notice 14 days back, prior notice before the date of AGM is required to remove that auditor. Otherwise, he is eligible to be reappointed. Section 140 is having compulsory reappointment, sir. And if you don't want to reappoint, then you need to follow the whole process of 140. Just read it very carefully. We need resolution. And if you don't do that, it would be violation of clause number 9 of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. I'm telling you, this is something very serious. So I think I have talked enough. And now we can have question and answer if someone has. Whenever I'm talking on code of ethics, see, institute had given me, or I have chosen a particular domain where I'm talking about the wellness of the chartered accountant himself. So a gym instructor is never have that particular response which a caterer have. So I'm not giving you good dishes to eat. I'm saying this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. That is quite panic. So, and talking this for this much time, I think it is enough. So thank you for having a patience hearing everyone, and I'm amazed to see that 190 members are there in this particular knowledge party. So thank you very much, Durgesh Bhai and Lalit Bhai, to call me, and I love to speak this study circle time and again whenever we have so many things. We don't have only code of ethics to talk about. We can talk about Caro whenever it comes. We'll talk about directors. We can talk about independent directors. We'll talk about corporate governance. We can talk about LODR. There are so many things to have discuss upon. So thank you very much, everyone. And any questions are there, I love to speak.
Thank you, sir. I think there was only one question so far in the Q&A box in which you have already answered. Though I have one question from my side. There's a question related to I've seen many CAs are posting some kind of updates on notification or something like that on the WhatsApp or other social medias, wherein their name and contact details are written. So whether that is allowed by us or not.
Yes, it is soliciting the client itself, because we are circulating it to every group, not of the
Yes.
group of only chartered accountants. So it's
Yeah.
a kind of an indirect solicitation. Definitely, it is indirect solicitation. And I am of that opinion that a common practice could not become a law at present. In case of discipline, we can't say that it's a common practice, it's a law. No, it's not a custom of trade.
Okay.
We developed it.
That's true. So I've got another question in the question Q&A section that can practicing chartered accountant record his own songs and release on YouTube?
Yeah, yes, sir. We'll love to hear.
That's great. That's great.
It's your
So,
hobby. Until it is your hobby, then we will be there. And if you are uploading it and you become a great singer and you have YouTube likes and you have millions of YouTube likes, and then you have monetized your channel and your income tax computation is now showing the huge income from YouTube, then definitely we will come in between and say, sir, why you have COP? Surrender it and have that particular.
that's great. That's great. Sir, I must say that thanks so much to you. And this is one of the best advantage we have in this virtual CPE meetings. Then we can call the learned speakers. I will not use the word learned. I would say brilliant speaker like Aseem sir, and that will benefit our members with their knowledge sharing and all. So may I straight away request CA Sikandar Yadav to present well-deserved vote of thanks to the sir, please.
Thank you, Lalit Bhai. It is a great privilege and honor to propose well-deserved vote of thanks to the brilliant speaker, CA Aseem Trivedi sir. Sir has covered the topic in a very precise manner by explaining in a way of question and answer format with the beautiful PowerPoint presentation. Now I request all the present members for a loud virtual applause. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Each and every questions which were there in our mind are actually taken up by you, the practical ones, real practical ones. And that's why there's a reason there are no more questions in the Q&A box.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. We're ending the session here.